try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
PCNN guy, right?
BCNN, Buck Crack News Network, pal. We are the leader in real news. And Grandma just got capped. That can happen to anybody, and it will happen to anybody.
So I got a quick question for you. When you were filming, you were far enough away and you were on public property. What were you actually filming that got them upset?
Physical act happened when I got pushed in the street. I just got completely railroaded by the system. Very corrupt judge, everything.
Ming Lee is still on the loose.
Yeah, we will find you, Mr. I promise that. By the way, I'm going to be doing some secret agent mingling investigations this Wednesday, most likely. So we'll see how that goes. I would have defended myself and rocked the nerd, dropped him. But obviously, you can't do that if they got a badge and a gun, and well, you got to record them. I've been thinking about it for so long, like, what can we actually do to make some change? And, there's only a couple things that I could think of, and I'm going to take over. And once I'm there, ooh, it's game on. That's going to be glorious. That happens in 2025, so I got a little bit of time to work with. And
So yeah, tell us a little bit about like you and what your channel's about. And
well, I'm a dumb nerd. I guess right after high school, ended up joining the Army. I earned an airborne contract in the Army, so I went to airborne school, did that. Uh, Straight when I was getting my orders to my unit, I was stationed up in Italy, which I lucked out on big time. But my unit was deployed to Afghanistan, so as soon as I got there, I went straight to Afghanistan, just as a stupid 18-year-old kid, not knowing jack shit about anything. Um, I was thrown on the front lines. Learned a lot my very first week there. We ended up doing a little mission, and I was in an MRAP, which is just like a big armored vehicle. We ended up driving over an anti-tank mine, and it blew up directly underneath me. So that was my welcome to Afghanistan there. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've been through well over 50 firefights, just getting shot at, shooting back. Um, that was my first deployment. Just some crazy stuff happened, and ended up. I hated the Army every minute I was in it. At least, 95% of the time in the Army is just sucks. It's just horrible. But you do have the 5% of really, really crazy stuff that you're able to do that no one else gets to do, and you're a part of a certain brotherhood where it doesn't exist in the civilian side of life. And during that time, I just hated the Army so much. But we were with a brand new group of guys that have never been deployed before, and the last thing I was ever going to do is re-up or extend my contract. But I wanted to extend my contract, which I did do, so I could go on my second deployment, just to ensure that everybody got home safe. Just because I'd feel absolutely horrible if I didn't go with them, and a few of them died, whatnot. And on my second deployment, the first month in there, maybe 2-3 weeks, we were in a big firefight, and an RPG ended up blowing up 3 feet or so above my head. We were in a little Connex at the time, and it killed a real hero, Theodore Glendy. And it wounded everybody else that ran to the Connex with me, except for me. He took the shrapnel that would have been mine. I just had shrapnel on my flag afterwards, and so that event right there just changed my life forever, because I got to see what the ultimate sacrifice was. Experienced it literally in my arms through some crazy things. And I'm no hero, but I did. And I was so lucky to serve side by side and fight side by side with actual heroes. And so I ended up getting out of the Army. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I used my GI Bill and whatnot to just go to college. I majored in just a bunch of different things because I didn't know what to do. At one point, I wanted to be a firefighter. I think they're called smoke jumpers, where you jump out into, jump out of plane, parachute in, and deal with the fires that way. That was my goal at one point. So I went to school, EMT and whatnot. I did that for a little bit, but they paid like 11, 12 bucks an hour, which is a joke. You could get a job at a gas station that pays more. And so I was like, well, this job ain't worth it. And I've done different things, cell phone tower technician, climbing the cell phone towers and installing all that stuff. I've done many security jobs, worked at a casino, did just a bunch of different things. And um, I still didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I was like, shit, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And during one of my jobs as an armed security guy, I worked at public transportation in Denver at the airport. Um, I had a partner that kept watching these like kind of anti-cop videos, and at the time I was a super back the blue nerd that's like, yeah, go police, yeah,
I've
you
been
know,
there.
and I didn't quite understand exactly how bad what really was with the police, and he just kept playing these like First Amendment auditing videos from um, what is it, Auditing America and a bunch of other ones. I was like, damn, what the hell? Like, and I always thought, if they just complied, they would be just fine, which is probably true. However, I started digging deeper to why they were doing it, and they are standing up for the rights that I thought I was fighting for, and I swore an oath to. And it started to build a picture exactly what these people were doing and how very important it is, whether they could be assholes or not. It's um, at the same point, that's their right to do this. So that's something that we have to defend no matter what. And so I was thinking for a while. I mean, I was so against it at first, but then I started being like, you know what? I definitely understand. And then here rolls my 30th birthday. And on my 30th birthday, I grabbed the camera, went out there with a little tripod, um, and I filmed at the one of the sheriff departments in Colorado. And my video ended up going viral in Lackluster, San Joaquin Valley. They all ended up sharing that. So that's how I got my start in the YouTube. I was like, oh shit, okay. Um, and then from there, it started. The first maybe 8 months or so, my videos are looking back on it, they were kind of cringy because I tried doing like the professional approach, but kind of following what Amagansett Press or somebody like that would do. And then I started to evolve more into the comedy side, and that's where Grandma came to
Great.
be, and then a bunch of all these other weird ass characters. And now I just do my own thing because any job I've had, I've always had a lighthearted comedic approach to it. I didn't care. I just wanted to have some fun, and that's exactly what freedom is. You don't have to be a professional nerd. You could go out and just have fun with things. You don't have to be this one certain way. That's why I do what I do in my style. Because if you just see me, in the private life, just come hang out, I'm really not that funny. I'm pretty boring. I don't do a whole lot of things, but when I do get into character, um, at one point I was a happy-go-lucky person that was just says the most random shit all the time, but um, I don't, sadly, it's not like that anymore. So at least when I get in character and do all that, it kind of takes me back to, when my brain was like that and we were all happy and shit. So that is a good part about it, I suppose. Yeah, I did four.
Sure.
Or, I mean, originally I signed up for 3 years and the minimum 3 years, 4 months. And then that's when I extended my contract to do 4 so I could do that second deployment. But I mean, it's weird because somebody with such a short, service time like that doesn't really like. I was, 2 combat deployments so it was about half of it, just overseas in Afghanistan. So that was I don't know, it was a horrible time, but looking back on it, definitely proud that I was able to make it through there and meet some actual badasses and whatnot. And that's when you actually find some people are born with that warrior gene, whatever it may be. Maybe it's from, their ancestors that used to fight in war like crazy. But I believe I'm the first person in my family tree, at least that I know of, that actually served in the military or served in war. So I didn't have that, when shit was popping off, that's scary as hell. Until it happens to you, that shit is scary.
Right.
At some points, fear just takes over, and then you just can't have fear take over when you're in war, because you just can't act how you should react. And at least now, looking back at it, I got the fear part under control. So if shit were to happen now in America, hell yeah, I'm good to go. I'm game now.
What's the story on with all that Waterloo and you had to go to jail?
Yeah, I just got out of jail not long ago. I got absolutely steamrolled and cucked over. That all happened from me filming my neighbor came back from doing an audit or an investigation, whatever you would like to call it. And I noticed there was a bunch of unmarked police trucks behind me, and I thought they were after me. So I was like, "What the hell? Like, what the hell is going on?" Um, Ended up parking at my house. All those unmarked police trucks ended up having about 15, 20 police officers at my neighbor's house. So I grabbed the camera, started filming. Never went on property, always on a public sidewalk, or even be, not that far up on the public sidewalk, and filming the arrest from about 50 feet or so away. And then one of the lieutenants there sees me that I'm recording there. So he obviously didn't like that, tries telling me to move. And at that point, I was getting kind of pissed because they were roughing my neighbor around. And, I made a comment about, "Hey, you got a pimple on your chin." And then he walks away, and he lets that fester up, the pimple fester as well. And then he turns around, and he got so butthurt. He's like, get off here. We're doing a search warrant." And like, I'm not on the property for one, and I'm so far away. And then he starts shoving me in the street and whatnot. And anytime, a man or anybody puts hands on me, um, I'm 100% rated disabled through the VA for PTSD in itself. I have a bunch of other shit going on, but so when that shit happens, I go into like the fight or flight mode.
Right.
Luckily, I can control myself from turning physical against somebody, but um, yeah, I just started hurling the First Amendment at him, just making insults and whatnot, because you don't put hands on another person. If that was anybody else, I would have defended myself and rocked the nerd, dropped him. But obviously, you can't do that if they got a badge and a gun and their little boyfriends all over. You just can't do that, because you don't want some felonies to be stuck in there forever. And I just go on the opposite side to film while there's plenty of people walking throughout the scene. I never was, just with a group of people, and I see all the officers standing on the fence line doing nothing for about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm just talking to them, whatnot, and cussing here and there. And one of the sergeants got just super offended that I was cussing, so he storms over to the group of people right around me, and he tries to solicit a disorderly conduct, asking everybody, "Are you offended by this guy's language?" And everyone said no. And that's when I said the famous line where I always put it on the end of my video. I was like, "Yeah, you're a tyrant. Suck my dick." And then
Yeah.
that he just got so butthurt. He's like, "All right," and then he arrested me for that. Obviously, he couldn't get disorderly conduct, so they said they all have their little games. So they said that I was interfering. So I got charged with interference with official acts, which perfectly states in the statute that verbal harassment is no part of this, and I have to make an obstacle, or I have to touch them in some manner, which I found out, I had to go to court, and just then my VA disability back pay came in. So I got lucky there, and sadly, I paid well over 20 to 30 grand. It's going to be close to 30 when I got to pay it very soon, but I had to pay for an attorney. By the way, if you're trying to do, stand up for your rights, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll get an attorney, no problem." Well, I'll tell you what, it's almost impossible to find yourself an attorney. It just is so rare, especially in Iowa. Any bootlicking place, I mean, you're pretty much out of luck. But yeah, we had an attorney. We went to trial, the jury trial, and one of the six jury members was a sitting city councilman, which is unheard of. Like, what the hell? And that city councilman even made comments saying he'd be hesitant to side against the police because he works with them. When we were doing the jury selection, over 2/3 raised their hands that they're personal friends with police. Like, the whole thing, you could tell, is just rigged against me. Yeah, they probably
Right.
got the jury from a blue line, like rally of some sort. But we did that whole jury trial, took 2 days, and they came back. Oh, when they were doing the deliberation, the jury asked information or questions about the statute because they're talking about verbal harassment's not part of it. Where's the physical contact? And the judge said no. We're not going to explain to you what the statute is, blah, blah, blah. And they ended up saying that the prosecutor said that the physical act happened when I got pushed in the street. I never initiated anything, but it was me getting pushed by them. So that just means, if you're doing anything, a cop comes up to you and touches you, you could be found guilty because that happened to me. And then they came back with a guilty verdict. They said 30 days in jail with 20 suspended, making it 10 days that I had to serve, and 1 year probation, which turned to 1 year self probation, which really doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I had to go do that 10 days locked up in jail for free speech and filming my neighbor get arrested. I just got completely railroaded by the system. Very corrupt judge, everything.
Yeah, because I mean, even the fact that he was a sitting council member, that's like conflict of interest. You would
Yeah, that should
think.
disqualify it or at least give me an appeal, something. But we already tried that. We tried doing appeals and even appealed to the Iowa Supreme Court twice. We exhausted everything that we could. And the Supreme Court's not going to look at a simple misdemeanor. They have too much other shit and they don't care about that. And they didn't. So they just denied it. And the appeal, by the way, in a normal state, if you appeal, yeah, you'll get your appeal. However, in Iowa, the law is written to where if you're charged with a simple misdemeanor, even though it carries 30 days in jail, the appeal decision is up to the exact same court. So if the court's corrupt, they're gonna obviously deny your appeal, and that's exactly what happened to me. I just got steamrolled the whole way, and now I got to do what I got to do to make things right. And I'm going to try. I'm going to run for city council to knock that same jury member out of his spot, and I'm going to take over. And once I'm there, ooh, it's game on. That's going to be glorious. That happens in 2025, so I got a little bit of time to work with. And I've been thinking about it for so long, like what can we actually do to make some change? And there's only a couple things that I could think of, and um, we really need to infiltrate government positions, especially elected, with people that are freedom loving people that like the Constitution, that would put that above all instead of their own political gain. So even my plan is to run for city council, and I'm not going to take any money. I don't care about the salary there. If they want to pay me, I'll put it all back into Waterloo, Iowa, where I got arrested. So I'm going to do something like that. Like, I'm not there for the money. I don't care about that. I'm here to stand up for our rights and send a message to them all. And that's going to happen. It's just going to take a little bit of time and a lot of hard work to get me there, but it's definitely going down.
They get so pissed if anyone else is recording them because it's always weird how bits of their body cam footage is always missing or muted.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. So I'm going to be working on, the next steps, and I'll probably do a video on how, if you get denied FOIA requests for X reason, that this is how the proper steps to go to actually get all that. Because yeah, if they're doing something wrong, they're going to try everything to hide it from you. And if you don't pursue to the fullest, you will never get it. So that's exactly, I'm going to do that here, maybe tomorrow or the next day with a few other departments. So Chili got apps, whether you like them or not.
I was just gonna say,
railroad.
like them or hate them, because me personally, I don't like the guy. I don't like his style, but it doesn't matter if you like him or not.
Shit, yeah.
What happened to him was wrong and corrupt.
You got to stand up for that, because that can happen to anybody, and it will happen to anybody. You cannot let this shit happen. Judges think they're gods. Judges are, in my opinion, even worse than the police, because they can't be touched for the most part. You really can't touch a judge. They're the last say type person, and they know that. That's why they have that God complex to where, oh, what are you going to do? Oh, I'll get you, say anything, contempt or anything. They'll give you bullshit charges, and you're already going to be fighting in a very corrupt system that's so unfair that your chances are you will lose. So that's,
Mhm.
that's what you got to work with. It's once you're in it and see it all, you understand just how evil and corrupt the judicial system actually is. And it's insane that the people before me have let it get so bad. That unlawfully arrested me and I was found guilty and thrown in jail. I've been there multiple times, with this 2A wearing my body armor and my M4 Glock. I just go out, walk through the police parking lots and protest out there. And I'm going to start getting a big group together to peacefully exercise our first and second out there. And so that's going to be coming soon. Yeah, you're a tyrant. Suck my dick.
It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.